karmic mission perfectly when I talk to her, Frances Lee said. Are all the people in the city in this one place? She asked. Is there some rule in Canada that we all meet here at this time of night? Friendly mass get-together? I looked at the time on my cell phone. The ringer had been off from last night, and I saw that I'd missed 3 calls from Mom. 3 in the last hour? All my panic neurons, or whatever they were, started to sway back and forth like those creepy underwater urchin things, whatever they were. Problem? Definitely. 3 calls in an hour meant cranked-up mother anxiety. I debated whether to check the messages. It was 6:45, and we were still on the bridge, and it was not the time or place to have a private, calm-your-mom conversation. Better to not even know yet what disaster loomed on the horizon. It was a shame those Disneyland restaurants were so darn noisy that you could never hear your phone. We inched along, finally making it to Granville Island itself, a tiny place of art galleries and restaurants painted in bright shades of yellow and blue and red, a public market, jugglers and musicians performing amidst crowds, the smell of just-caught fish and browning garlic and caramel corn in the air. Groups of people stopped to turn to look at Bob. Some guy in a Corona tank top shouted a drunk, "I love you!" up to Bob, who was not impressed, but still smiled politely. We got untangled from the tourist center, drove to the edge of the small island where a tiny group of houseboats huddled together at the water's edge. Frances waited for a huge RV with a license plate that read Captain Ed and a bumper sticker that said, Home of the Big Redwoods, to pull out. Captain Ed reversed, then pulled back in, reversed, and tried again. For God's sake, Captain Ed, get it right, we're in a hurry here. I craned my neck, trying to see who Captain Ed was, but no luck. We parked, and Frances turned off the engine and sighed, and we all got out. I felt a sudden bout of nerves as we passed the Private, Residents Only sign posted on the dock gate and made our way down the wooden planks, looking for her house number. The houseboats were all different, large, 2-story geometric homes and small shingled cottages, all floating on the water and swaying with the waves made by passing boat traffic. Sprout carried the clock, with its hands stuck at 3:30. Jake had his shirt back on, and Frances Lee had brushed her hair. All we knew about Elizabeth Bennet was that she and my dad had gone to high school in Seattle together. No one else could quite compare to her in my dad's eyes, Joelle had told Frances Lee. Sweet, beautiful, good. We reached houseboat number 6, and I knocked. I'd had Elizabeth Bennet's husband pictured all different. Angled cheekbones, maybe, angry eyes, the kind of man who watches a lot of sports and then expects dinner. But he wasn't like that at all. You made it, he said. My name's Andy. He held out his hand. He had a thin, kind face and warm eyes, curly brown hair that was turning gray. He had a soft t-shirt on from some marathon you could tell he probably ran in. He had that sparse, lean, no-frills body of a runner. Elizabeth is in here, he said, and we followed him through a hall lined with black and white photos into a living room that looked out onto the water. A woman lay on the couch, her head wrapped in a scarf, her knees in a blanket, which she kicked off to sit upright and greet us. Elizabeth Bennet was sick, really sick. You could tell by the bottles of pills on the end table, and by her bony face and hands, and by the yellow cast of her skin. Fair warning, I look terrible, she said. It had been such a hot, hot day, but her feet had fuzzy pink socks on them. So, I hear you're on a quest, and that you've got something for me, Elizabeth Bennet said. Mary Louise Hoffman. I want my daughters to understand that step 1 is avoiding the wrong men, but step 2 is finding the right one, if that makes sense. I used to think that finding the right one was about the man having a list of certain qualities. If he had them,